Hi everyone, in this, I will go over all the Chrono cross collaboration characters. You can get 3 of them by main story chapter 13, Starky by chapter 25 and Glenn by chapter 32. Chrono cross elements, these are CC unique mechanics. Every one of them can equip these to get more skills. They are basically equipable skills, and the CC elements covers all 7 elemental types in the game. Elemental increase buffs. These increases the specific elemental damage from 30% to 60%, required power levels to work at higher potency. Mostly found in the collab Kerk Swampland and Serena Coast. Elemental resistance shred. These decreases the specific element resistance on enemies up to 60%, mostly found in the collab Dreamslip Tower. Elemental resistance defenses. These increases party resistance to the specific elements, mostly found in the collab Underground Fortress, Rind, and Serena Coast. Healing. These can heal and cleanse or regenerate HP depending on what you need at the time, mostly found in the collab Underground Fortress and Moonlight Forest.
I'm doing this because I'm the only one that can!
Heavenly Dash and Slash, the main power level stacking skill. Attacking skill that stacks, buffs critical damage, very spam-friendly power level stacking skill. Light of Meditation, secondary skill for stacking power levels. Fixed amount heal and increases max HP. Flying Arrow, main single target DPS skill, wants max power level for damage. Damage scales to his light, but has somewhat slow animation in AF for a DPS skill. Stellar passive, start of battle / magic zone sets awaken zone if 3+ Chrono cross teammates. Stellar skill, set / magic zone and attack, buffs PWR and all weapon damage, sets / magic awaken zone in burst. This is his only skill that doesn't change element with his equipment. My opinions on Serge, flexible support unit with DPS potential. His attacks can change to any of the 7 elements, as long as you change his first slot equipped element before battle. He also has the easiest way to stack his power levels out of all the Chrono cross characters. His main DPS skill, Flying Arrow, scales to light, is strong at max light but has questionable AF animations. He is also easy access to infinite awaken zones, great for slash or magic characters that require awaken zones to work. His zone also gives additional skill effects for other Chrono cross characters, except for Glenn. Overall, a very flexible filler character, but not the best at anything. Should you farm his light, decent DPS at max, but still not that great due to animations and hit count.
Gonna kick your asses so hard you'll kick the moon!
Power level stacking. Her main way to gain power level is basic attacking. 1 critical attack gives her 2 power levels. She has a fortune skill to stack 2, but it's a non-attacking skill, so is bad for AF and also wastes 1 skill slot. Z-Pilfer, attack that debuffs enemies and buffs party. Also steals item at a low chance once every fight. Starts at low debuff buff % rates but strong % at max stacks. Hotshot, single target physical resistance reduction. Huge resistance shred at max power level. Red Pin, fire buff on party and resistance shred on enemies. Huge buffs and debuffs at max power level. Stellar passive, uses Z-Pilfer start of battle. Excellent mob clear skill if team is configured well. Stellar skill, removes all enemy buffs, debuffs and gives herself overthrow. In burst, removes enemy buffs only. Also gives herself priority for 3 turns. When in / magic zone during burst, uses Z-Pilfer in tandem. My opinions on Kid, gacha level free fire support unit but requires setup. Her main flaw is needing to reach max power levels for max potential, which means spamming her basic attack for most cases. Fortune is not a good skill. Once you reach the max power level, her performance as a fire support is comparable to fire gacha supports. Z-Pilfer is also one of the best debuff skills, which also steals items that can help early game players. Her stellar passive lets her attack start of battle, which means you can clear mobs before they even move. a great unit that's held back by needing to stack. Otherwise is a gacha level character. Should you farm her light, consider getting her to 80 for that extra skill slot.
Bien, soon you shall be dreaming of moi.
Main power level stacking skill, Lunar Ruin, high self buffs and stacks power level. She has the highest max power level, 12 instead of 10, so her ability to use elements is higher than all the other Chrono Cross characters. Lunar Protection, secondary power level stacking skill, party resistance up. She is able to make party be immune to one element, if this is used in conjunction with an elemental resistance element, like say using anti-fire, and this skill at max power level makes the party be immune to fire attacks. Moonbeams, huge shade and magic resistance shred at high stacks. Stellar skill, damage based on number of enemy debuffs. In burst, self buffs in slash magic zone before doing high damage. This is her main DPS skill, does high damage but is one hit and also horrible AF animation. My opinions on Harle. Magic resistance shredder with DPS and resistance defense. She has the second biggest magic resistance shred in the game, after including current gacha units. For DPS, she is held back by one-hit DPS and horrible animations, but those aren't much of an issue until much later in the game. She is the only character to allow the party to negate elemental attacks, by giving them enough resistance to go over 100% by herself, but it's easier to just use tanks instead of capped elemental resistance these days. Overall, good early game unit, which may find use in magic teams later for her huge resistance shred. Should you farm her shadow? Not really, no.
Here comes Starky.
Main power level stacking. Getting damaged gives stacks per hit fitting for a tank, even pain poison ticks stacks for him. Starburst, priority debuff and gives himself counter attacks. He counterattacks physical attacks, heals and cleanses party on counters and counterattacks with crystal magic. Stellar passive, start of battle self-healing, gain 3 power levels, physical resistance and HP shields. Stellar skill, attacks self-resistance up and stockade on self for the turn. Be careful of using stockade, redirecting all attacks will require a lot of defense to not die, especially against fixed damage. Uses Starburst in tandem if in slash magic zone, but the animations for this skill is horrible so don't rely on it in AF. In burst, gives self-guard instead of stockade, which makes the party basically unkillable for one turn. Equipment setup, he can get near capped resistance, which will capped with in battle self-resistance buffs, or you can also go with more status resistance, but still cap resistance with self-buffs in battle. My opinions on Starky, counter-attacking tank with elemental support. You will want to use him as a tank and give him some resistance shred or buffing element to support the party. His counterattacks now can also help trigger some chain attacks, but he still only counters physical attacks unfortunately. He is the only Chrono Cross character that you don't have to think about getting him to max power levels since he gets max power levels naturally by doing tanking. Can be slotted into any elemental team to tank, just equip the corresponding element for him to support. His Stellar Burst bonus giving MP Restore allows him to work for longer fights. Overall, a decent tank filler that works in any elemental team. Should you farm his light? Not really.
Here we go! The Dragoons are here!
Power level stacking. His main way to gain power level is basic attacking. One critical attack gives him 2 power levels. His personal weapon Holy Legends gives him 2 power level every end of turn with his stellar passive. True Dash and Gash. Attack self-buff and gives him 1 power level. Spam for power levels if you don't want to use basic attack, but it takes 10 moves to max this way, which is longer than 1 AF usually. Arrow Saucer. Huge resistance shred at max power level. Dive and Drive, DPS skill, self-buffs when power level is over 8. This skill gets used in burst with Stellar skill, so you normally won't need to equip this skill. Stellar skill. His main DPS spam skill but wants max power level to work. Repeats attack at max power level. Damage scales to his light. uses additional dive and drive and burst, and does increased damage. Repeat's attacks sound good for a DPS, but he has very slow animations in AF for this skill. My opinions on Glenn. Self-sufficient multi-hit attack again DPS, has good self-buffs and resistance shred, multi-hit attacks with attack again, which makes him sound like an op DPS on paper, except his main flaw of being hard to actually reach max power level. Minimum of 5 moves makes him the slowest power level stacker. So you will usually waste half or one full AF just to max his stacks before he starts functioning. His other flaw being horrible animation speeds for a DPS. He takes way too long to attack in AF, so he doesn't really extend AF unlike other attack again characters. Still one of the highest hit count for a DPS out of AF, making him excellent for content like Astral Archive challenges. Overall, a DPS that works if you spend time to build his power level. Damage is however lower than expected in AF. Should you farm his light if you plan to use him for DPS? Definitely. Overall opinion of Chrono cross characters. They are good fillers for many teams. Due to their unique element equip system, they can work in all 7 elemental teams. Their main drawback is needing power levels to function well. It's usually a pain to reach max power levels, but they perform well once you get past that barrier. Overall, great units that can fill in the blanks even for gacha teams. Thanks for watching.